My name is Susan Moffett, and I am the creative director of Future Histories Lab, and I'm also the executive director of the Global Urban Humanities Initiative. And both of these are interdisciplinary projects, and we look at cities through the lenses of many different disciplines. And I want to introduce you to Kelvin Yo, who is our student webmaster and communications guru. So I'm very thankful to Kelvin for being here. And I'm just going to give a brief overview of what Future Histories Lab is. We aim to reveal hidden histories, generally focused on the Bay Area, and to share those histories in order to envision better futures. So we are always looking both at the past, but always with an eye to the future. And we are a Future Histories Lab because we make things. And the things that we make range from websites to performances, to films, to installations, to augmented reality. And the point of all these projects is to reveal histories in the landscape. So when we walk around cities, whether it's walking through Sproul Plaza or wherever in the world you are, because I know that folks are in different places right now, we don't know what happened right under our feet. And if we don't know what happened here, we're walking kind of blind through these landscapes. It's hard to imagine and make happen better futures. And so our goal is to share these histories, whether it's of segregation, of inequality, of different kinds of creativity, all the many things that have happened in any urban space, and also non-urban spaces, although we're focused primarily on the urban. Our goal is to make those visible so that all of us can experience history, not just from reading books, but by, it might be a walking tour that we create. It might be a neighborhood plan. And so we're growing out of the disciplines of architecture and city planning and landscape architecture combined with the humanities. So we're using techniques from art history, rhetoric, looking critically at the same time that we are thinking projectively. So we are both interpreting and intervening. That's kind of been the hallmark of what we've done in the past 7 years in the Global Urban Humanities Initiative. And it's also what we're doing in a more community engaged and more local way in Future Histories Lab. So I'm just going to share my screen and just walk you through a couple of our courses. Okay, can you all see my screen okay? Okay, so on our website, if you look at the section for students, I encourage you, there's a section that's called for community. You can look at our community partners there and our kind of approach to community partnerships. If you want to see who's in our faculty, even though this says for faculty, this is a good place to look at, who's involved. And then for students, you can see we have information on our graduate and undergraduate certificates. Our certificate program is pretty simple. You take one of our studio courses, and then you take 2 electives, one in the College of Environmental Design from our list there, one from the Letters and Science division from our list there, and that's the certificate. It's pretty lightweight, pretty simple and straightforward. Then we have courses, and I'm sorry, my connection's a little slow. And just to give you a sense of our studio courses, the notion of a studio comes from the discipline of architecture. And in the ideal studio course, it's named after the room in which the learning takes place. And unlike a lecture hall or a seminar room where you come in and out and there are different classes all day, you have a place that you kind of own for the whole semester. And you can see that the research is shared and cumulative. You can see just by all the stuff stuck up on the wall. We're not able to do that, obviously, during the pandemic, and we're not always, just for lack of space, able to do this, but this is kind of the ideal. So I think this space, I hope, gives a sense of how we do our work. So our current course offerings are So these are our spring offerings, and these classes are already full, but if you take a look at our Transformative Justice Studio and our Ghost and Vision Studio, which is kind of very aligned with your interests, Sam, because we're learning from a landscape of environmental destruction. These will give you an idea of what we do, but next summer, we have a whole lot of really great courses. Our one lecture course is called Hidden in Plain Sight, Public History and Public Space. We'll be looking at monuments and memory. I think that's going to be a really great course taught by Kathy Covey. Then our studio courses include one where we're looking at a utopian housing project in Richmond, California, that was built in the 50s and then torn down recently to make a Hope 6 project. But it's very focused on the kind of the politics and power of archives. It's taught by the director of the Environmental Design Archives at Berkeley, and it'll be looking at history through plans and surveys of occupants back then, and we'll be thinking about what were people thinking when they created this utopian project, and why was it later torn down. We'll be mapping with Pablo Gonzalez, public art. He'll be looking at murals, protest murals around the Bay Area, and creating a website to tell the stories of these murals, and also doing some AR so that people, when they are on site at the mural, they could have more information about the mural. But thinking about not just looking at these murals as objects, but looking at their political and social and kind of built environment context. And then we have another course on the Filipino community in south of Market. Marcus Owens has been working with the local community there and a community organization to create, they have a kind of public space that they're activating, and you'll be making historical displays based on oral histories of this really interesting neighborhood. We have Juan Barrowman talking about schooling and education in Oakland, working with an Oakland high school, working with the students there to tell the story of this alternative high school and its history over the years, and its kind of physical place as it has moved in different spots in Oakland. That's going to be a really great course, working closely with the education community. The course on Oakland's Hoover Durant Library is taught by Lynn Horiuchi, who's an architectural historian, but she's also a community activist in West Oakland and has been working for decades with Alter Cook, who has been working to reestablish a public library that was torn down during all the freeway construction that happened in West Oakland. And they're going to be creating, the students are going to create an oral history, tracking the history of both the destruction of the old library and the efforts to make a new library. And that oral history is going to be extremely helpful in a concrete way to the current organization in their work. So it's going to really plug into the actual community work that this organization is doing. And that's also one of the main things we're trying to do, is to create work products that are of use to our community partners. So we want it to be a collaboration where we're not going in from the outside, parachuting in and studying a place, but rather asking the community, what do you need? How can we help create and tell the stories that you want to tell? Speaking of that, we have a filmmaking workshop taught by the amazing Ray Tejas. If you're interested in making a film this summer, you should contact me, and I'll put you in touch with Ray Tejas now, because you need to be working throughout the spring semester to create a treatment that is a proposal and do the research for a film in order to get ready to shoot and edit it in the summer. So that's a great opportunity, but you need to jump on it now. We have a performance-oriented course taught by Erica Chong-Shuk and her performance collective called For You. They will be working with elders in South Berkeley to listen to their stories and create performances that will tells stories that maybe should be monuments, but maybe the monument is just going to be an ephemeral performance. We don't know. But Erica, who I've taught with before, is just an amazing theater director, performance creator, and she's worked on creating in a project called For You, these very intimate one-on-one performances where the artist connects deeply with the one person they're creating the performance for. And they're looking at this as a kind of mutual aid in the time of pandemic. She, on March 15th, is going to be in conversation with Amara Tabor Smith, who's another amazing choreographer. That's going to be sponsored by Arts and Design, as well as by Future Histories Lab. So I encourage you to go to our, let's see, am I missing anything else? Then we have some other ones coming up in future years, but I want to encourage you to go to our, let's see, I'm going to take you to our homepage so you can see our upcoming events because we're just about out of time. So if you go down and look at our events, January 29th, we have a great talk. Whoops, what happened there? We have a great talk by Rashid Al-Shabazz, who is talking about how he helped rename Haight Elementary School in Alameda. It was renamed Love Elementary School. And Governor Haight, who the school was named after, was just a really kind of terrible racist back in the 19th century. And so he's going to be talking about what that process was. We are also going to have on February 1st and 2nd, mini lectures and info sessions about some of our courses. If you want to see all of our upcoming events, if you want to meet the professors who are going to be teaching these summer courses, come to these info sessions and mini lectures. There are 2 professors on each day, and we have 4 professors scheduled so far out of our summer classes, and the others will be scheduled soon. So that will be a chance for you to meet the professors. So that is the main part of my spiel. Does anybody have any questions? Great. Well, if there aren't any questions.
Actually,
yeah.
Off the top of my head, yeah. I haven't followed all of the campus updates. Will summer instruction be online or is it not sure yet?
Yeah, so summer instruction is going to be online. It's a really good question, because one thing about our classes, although, you know, we will be meeting on Zoom, we do a lot of field work, right? And so when we're going out and doing mapping in the community, you will be outside and off your screen. And because we will be studying landscapes so often, there will be a lot of time and we'll figure out a way to do it safely. You know, sometimes it means like helping students do field work individually or in small groups outdoors so that it's safe. So for example, the course that I'm teaching this semester, we're going to be doing a lot of field work kind of in various groups or individually outdoors. So, you know, and then some work like the performance connecting, you know, we're all figuring out ways to connect on Zoom. And that's what Erica has been doing, is helping isolated seniors use Zoom to connect and to have this kind of connection with artists. So it's very hybrid, but I think compared to a lot of classes, you won't be just stuck on your screen. I think that's one of the advantages that we have that we like to offer. Great. Well, if nobody has any other questions, feel free to go to our website and sign up for our newsletter. Would love to see you at our future info sessions. We'll have speakers of different sorts. You can find them on our website, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions.